So, in the year 2018, 2019, and 2020, I was really big into renting Redbox movies. Um, and I rented this one. No, this came out in 2016, obviously. So here's another Redbox movie that I watched. Added to my reviews. I watched it one time all the way back in 2016. Um, I own all three books. I read all the books before I watched the movie. There's also a movie version of the book, that's based off the movie. I have that too. Um, Watching this movie, it made me realize how many movie versions of books I have. Like, there's a Zootopia book based off the movie. There's an Ant-Man book based off the movie. Based off both Ant-Man and the Wasp, which I have both of those, I'm pretty sure. And then there's a movie based off Max. Uh, I will be honest, it's been a long time since I've read those books, and I don't really remember them. So I can't really compare them to this movie. I do know that there was criticisms about this movie, that some of the characters that are in this movie aren't even in the book. Some of them have different abilities that they didn't have in the book, and some of them are just brand new characters introduced for the movie. I cannot say whether that is true or not. I do know two things. Enoch, I think is how you say his name. I'm pretty sure he was way worse in the book. He wasn't like this somewhat redeemable character like he is in the movie. I'm pretty sure the dude was like a fucking serial killer. Like, not literally, but he was a fucking weirdo. At least I remember being really creeped out by the way they described him in the books. And here, yeah, he's kind of creepy, but he gets with the girl in the end, It's whatever. And the other thing, Samuel L. Jackson's character, Mr. Barron. I remember being very disappointed with his death when I watched the movie. So I think his death was different in the book. It's fine. It's pretty brutal, especially for a PG-13 movie. So let's talk about the movie. It follows this guy named Jake, his uncle Abe, who is only very briefly in the beginning. He shows up later at the end. Abe is a peculiar is how I think you say it. He's a peculiar. I don't know. I might say it a different time every time I say it. He's a peculiar, and he can go through time loops. He can see the monsters, which all the other peculiars, they cannot see the monsters. So, yeah, he's very open about it with his grandson. And eventually it gets the grandson into trouble because he, takes the photos to school. And then he's embarrassed in the class, and the teacher claims the photos are fake. It leads to their relationship being a little bit less great, and, now his grandson thinks he's crazy. And it ends up leading to his death because apparently his dad, without permission, just, I don't know, he thought he was doing what was best for him, takes his key to his gun cabinet so he can't access his guns. Which, wild. So I believe most gun cabinets are just behind glass. So if he really needed to defend himself, he could have broke it, but we don't really see his gun cabinet, so I can't say for sure. Of course, he's killed by one of the hologas, the monsters, and his eyes are removed. He's able to still talk, and he's still somewhat alive when his grandson finds him. Then he dies. The hologas is still there, and Jake's boss, I think, at his job is able to scare it off by shooting at it. Speaking of her, she was fucking awesome. We only get a few minutes with her, but man, she seems like a really good person. she's just the boss. As far as I know, I'm pretty sure she's just like his boss at work. She takes him out to his grandpa's in like it's like at least in the afternoon. It's still daylight out, and she takes him all the way out there, and it's nighttime by the time she gets there. She waits until she knows he's safe, which unfortunately, it's not safe. The hollow gas has killed his grandpa, and she's just waiting for him. She's like, "Hey, holler if you need me." And he hollers, and she go and gets her gun. She's fucking really cool. I wish we would have got to see more of her. We cut to like a month later, and Jake's therapist recommends that they go to the place his grandpa always told him about to get closure and for him to, not mix reality and fiction. And they decide to go there. It's the only scene we see with the mom. She disappears after this. And now we're stuck with Jake and his dad. His dad's a bird watcher. That's a little bit of part of his character. His dad's really bitter. I don't like him. Nothing against the actor. And I guess that's probably the way he's played on purpose. But man, he's just not fun. He bitches like the entire movie about everything. And he's not a fun character. So I don't want to even talk about him. They don't even have a reunion. Like, he kind of just takes off on him and goes to go live in a time loop. He doesn't care about this guy at all, which is understandable. His dad was something else. Big pity party for the dad. So he ends up stumbling upon the time loop, and he gets to see how they live every day. Honestly, my favorite part of the movie. It lasts a good 20 minutes probably, but all of it is fun. We see like their daily chores. We see a dinner scene where we get to see how all the different kids eat. We get to see what they do every day to reset the time loop. They all go outside and wear gas masks, and she slows down the time, and just before the bomb hits the house. Because, that's another thing. They never say the word Nazi, but this place takes place during Nazi Germany, and, they bombed the house they were living in, the Nazis did. Because we even do see very briefly a Nazi sign on the bomb. Now, with the gas mask thing, as cool as it was, and I remember seeing the trailer for it and fucking loving it, I don't get why they're wearing the gas mask. Maybe for extra safety? Because later, they have to, leave the time loop. Because Miss Peregrine's been captured by Samuel L. Jackson's character. And, she can't reset the time loop. So, the bomb's gonna go. Not a single one of them are wearing gas mask. It's whatever. It doesn't ruin the movie or anything. It's just weird. Make a big deal about them all having to wear a gas mask when the bomb drops. But the next time we see the bomb drop, not a single one of them are wearing it. Samuel L. Jackson's role is relatively small, especially for it being a 2-hour movie. He shows up once in the beginning when there's about an hour left in the movie. We have some flashbacks with him, but we don't fully see this man until there's 46 minutes left of this movie. And I'm fine with that. Letting the other actors shine was a good choice. It's a shame this movie never got a sequel, with the fact that, it had 3 books. But I'm sure, I think it got a more positive reaction than the Percy Jackson movies did, because fans hated those movies. I love both the Percy Jackson movies and the books. I read the books first, and I like the movies. Second one, not so much. There's a little bit of dumb stuff with that one. Like, they're setting up the 3rd book, but also using the 5th book's villain. It doesn't make sense. Anyways, this movie, it's pretty good. like I said, Samuel L. Jackson having a small role, it's not like a super small role by any means. He has quite a bit of screen time. But I appreciate that a big actor like him had a smaller role in a movie like this to let all the other actors shine. Originally, as a kid, funnily, I thought the guy that plays Jake was the same actor that plays Percy Jackson. I was so impressed as a kid. I never looked up the actor. I just was like, oh, he got to do Percy Jackson and he got to do this movie. They don't even look alike. They're both white and that's it. Um, anyways, yeah, Millard, I do want to talk about Millard for a little bit. I don't think there's anything wrong with his character in the movie, but I've seen on TikTok a lot lately, even though he's like, what, 12 maybe in the movie? There's a lot of people thirsting for him on TikTok. Like, they like his voice. Or they'll edit the scene of him taking off his clothes where he says he knows what to do. It's odd. Maybe the people editing them are the same age, but I did want to address that because it's icky to me and should be to most people. You know. Millard was pretty cool, though I do think that I do think this is stupid. They have Jake, he's the one that can see the monsters. I mean, they don't really specify why, like it's his ability. Like their whole thing is that they're invisible. Like, even Mr. Barron, who used to be a Hologast, can't see other Hologast. So it's basically like a superpower is that these things can't be seen. They're invisible. So he can see them. Millard is also invisible. Why can't he see Millard? I don't think it ruins the movie, but I still think it's pretty stupid to address, like have this character be, oh, he can see stuff that's invisible, but he can't see Millard? Okay, that makes total sense. There's a little bit of a silly scene where, he believes he has powers because there's stuff being thrown around in the bar, but it's actually Millard doing it. I found that scene stupid as a kid. I still find it stupid. I don't know why he would believe that he was doing it. It's whatever. I do like the fact that he, went to the hotel, but it originally was a bar, so, he gets the people yelling at him and be like, you don't have a fucking room here, it's a bar. I really like that. I love a lot about this movie. The Run Rabbit song during what I had mentioned earlier with the time loop and the bomb is just iconic. It's instantly iconic. Samuel L. Jackson, he gets shut the fuck up by Miss Peregrine in a pretty awesome scene where he tries to tell the children to come downstairs and she's like, you don't tell my children what to do. I'm going to tell them what to do. And she tells them to come down. And they've already established that she's pretty smart and can figure things out pretty easily. So she literally explains Mr. Barron's plan when he hasn't even said it. It's a little silly, but I like it. She's like, you guys go lock yourself in a room and I'll turn into a bird and be in a cage. And yeah, that's what you want me to do, isn't it, Barron? And he's like, and he doesn't talk. It's fucking awesome. Samuel L. Jackson, I think he's a bit too campy at times in this movie, and other times I fucking love his performance. I think this movie mixes comedy and horror decently well. They have, I don't think they establish what time period Barron is from. I assume he's from the future, but is trying to fuck with the time loops. I don't know for sure, but if he's from the past, I do have a criticism for that. I don't think, fuck the movie. It's a fictional movie. I guess you can try and ignore racism, but it's the 1940s. Segregation hasn't ended. A lot of stuff is still being done to black people to this day. So if he is from the past, I think it would be weird because he's like the leader of this group. They call him the leader. He's friends with all these people. A black guy bossing a bunch of white people around wouldn't exactly fly in the 1940s. So maybe they establish it better in the book. Or maybe he's not even black in the book. Who knows? Because I haven't read the book in a while. When we finally get to the final showdown, I guess I got to talk about this first. Enoch uses his powers to bring a bunch of skeletons to life, and they fight off and kill 3 Hologast and one of fucking Baron's friends. His other friend gets hit by a bus. Like he just doesn't realize that the car is coming his way or something. And then the other guy like waits for the car to go by. Kind of funny. One of the Hologasts manages to survive. We see it later when we're seeing the fucking crime scene and it's sneaking by the police and shit. Not killing them, even though they've established in this movie that they'll kill they'll kill humans too. People that aren't peculiar, the people that are in their way. I guess they weren't technically in his way, but it's a monster. Why don't they just kill a few people right there? Mr. Baron confronts Jake. They're having a little fight. He starts choking him a little bit, but he hears Jake's friends coming, so he lets go of Jake and just fucking turns into Jake, because we've already established he's a shapeshifter, because he was actually Jake's therapist. And he was also this guy that we saw in like 2 scenes, who was also a bird watcher like Jake's dad. So he shapeshifts into Jake for some reason, which, I do think the line is cool, and I mean, it's a decent death, but why would he turn into Jake? He's already established that he's not scared of these kids. Maybe to fuck with them? I don't know why he's turning into Jake to try and fool them. They also have like this thing that I thought was dumb where they just established that fucking Jake's like really bad with the bow. So Enoch fucking, he throws shade at him. Baron throws shade at him. I don't know. I didn't think it was very funny. It was clearly supposed to be funny. He says, I know how to prove that I'm me. I can see the monsters. And the Hologast that had survived from the earlier fight with skeletons attacks Mr. Baron and takes out his eyes. It's a pretty cool death, and then Enoch kills the final Hologast. Like, there's probably more of them, but at least the final Hologast for now. And that's pretty much the movie. There's a little bit more, but I don't think it's really that important to talk about, but I guess I will. They fix the time loop. They're going to some other place. He decides to go back. His grandpa's alive again, because I guess they were able to stop Baron from ever having the Hologast kill the grandpa. I don't really understand how that works. But yeah, the grandpa's alive again. He goes to go see his grandpa. He hugs him. He's really happy to see him. And his grandpa's like, oh, go fucking see Emma again. And now he's dating Emma, who they kind of hint at that Emma like had a thing for Abe. I think that's extremely weird that Jake, Abe's grandson, is later gonna date a girl that his grandpa liked. Ugh, that's just weird to me. Also the fact that, yeah, I know technically she hasn't aged, but what? She's like an 80-year-old woman technically. Like, she hasn't aged technically, but at the same time, she's been, this age for 80 years. It's like the same shit with vampires, where a vampire will say they're, 18, even though they've been 18 for 100 years. It's weird. So, yeah, Jake and Emma are together at the end of the movie or whatever. It's a decent movie. I enjoyed it. I don't know if the books are better. I'll reread them one day, and maybe I'll compare them to this movie.